All righty. Well, I just want to say, how excited are you to be making your debut for BYB?
Man, I'm very excited. Um, this ain't for the faint of heart. And I'm so looking forward to getting there and testing myself. So excited is an understatement.
And does the excitement kind of build knowing you're going to be on this historic card, you're going to be in Dubai? There's so many elements to this card that makes it even more exciting.
Oh no, for sure. Me having fought in the UFC on some very big cards, I kind of feel at home. Um, I'm looking forward to, being on the card with like Hector Lombard and all these guys, man. So it most definitely, it ups the antes for me.
Is this your first time in Dubai?
Yes, it is. So at first it almost didn't happen. Like I almost didn't get on the card, and the opportunity presented itself, and I was able to get on the card. So, man, I couldn't be more excited. So I'm happy about that.
Are you going to be able to sightsee at all, or are you just going to be going in and out pretty quick?
No, I think that I'll be there a couple of days before. I'm leaving here on the 14th. So, whenever I get there, I'm most definitely gonna be training, but I'm gonna try to sightsee as much as possible. So sleep not that much, see as much as I can.
Yeah, good plan.
Yeah.
Can you talk to me about your opponent? What do you know about him, and what were your thoughts when you got the name?
Yeah, man, he's a tough dude, man. Um, of course, I've already done my research. I watched almost every single fight that I can find on him. He's a durable guy, man. He just likes to fight. Um, it's a wonderful matchup for me. He's experienced. We got similar MMA records. He's 9-3, I believe, and I'm actually 9-5. Um, but he does have youth. He's what 28 years old, and I mean he's hungry, man. So um, the advantage that I have is I have more uh, boxing experience. He is more of a grappler. He's a big guy. Like he's in shape. Dude's got a lot of muscles. So I think that could possibly uh, be his downfall. But he's very tough, and he's not somebody that I'm taking lightly. He looks very, very powerful, very strong. And for me, when I got the matchup, I'm always down to challenge myself. I'm like, man, let's do it. He's a younger guy, and not only is he younger, he's been more active than I have been. But this last year, I've been pretty active, staying busy as far as like doing some boxing and things like that. Um, but I'm excited for it, man. I can't wait.
Do you like staying active? I know most fighters say they do, but there can be a downfall to over fighting and not giving your body rest. But do you feel like this is a good pace for you?
Of course, wholeheartedly. Um, for me, I think that the more active you are, the better you are. And that was my downfall in MMA because for me, I had got a late start in MMA. I didn't have my first fight until I was 30 years old. And when I had I didn't have any background. I didn't have no jujitsu. I didn't come from wrestling. I didn't come from boxing. I literally got up off the couch one day um, and was like, man, I bet you I can whoop one of these dudes. Like, I've been a fan of MMA since 93. And me and my boy went to high school together, King Mo Lawal. And I just hit him up one day and I was like, man, I bet you I can whoop one of these fools. He's a wonderful wrestler. Like, he's world renowned. Like, everybody knows Mo. And so I started out pretty fast. Like my career started out, um, I fought like three times my first year. I fought three times in 1 year. Um, and then I had an injury the following year. So I took like a year and a half off. And then I stayed busy again a little bit, But then right before I got to the UFC, that was my problem. Like I was only fighting once a year. And nobody can get momentum like that. You know, I tell guys, man, you need to fight as much as possible because that gets rid of the nerves. It keeps keeps the fight IQ way up, and you're always ready. And plus, you're always in shape. So when anytime a call comes, like there's no time to get out of shape. So I love this pace. I would love to fight every 2, 3 months if I could. Like I just had a boxing. Like I was supposed to box in December. That fight fell through. I just had a boxing fight last month. I'm fighting this month. And God willing, I don't have no injuries, man. I'm trying to fight again next month. And I think that whenever you're active and whenever you stay busy, um, you have to train smart. Like you can't be out here just getting the wars in the training room. And whenever you train smarter, then you're able to stay active. And being active for me is exactly what I want to do because I didn't have a base, like a background, like wrestling, jiu-jitsu, anything like that. I was literally learning on the job. So when I went to the UFC, like I had never fought in front of a massive crowd like that, or I was 8-1 in the UFC, and nobody was wanting to fight me because all my fights came by knockout. And now that I went to the UFC, I wasn't active, and that came back to bite me. But now that I'm more active, man, I love it. I wish I would have had this guidance and this ability to stay active when I first started fighting.
Do you think that desire to stay active will see, like, do you want to just stay active in boxing, or do you feel like, hey, I'm going to take an MMA fight if they offer me that, or I'm going to take a grappling match if they offer me that, or whatever it is, you just want to stay active, it doesn't matter? Or are you trying to stay active in boxing?
Whatever they offer me, man, I just want to fight. Like I love combat. Like I just love fighting. Um, I got an MMA offer coming up soon. I mean, so God willing, I don't have any injuries. Um, but to be honest, man, like boxing is for me, it's easier because you don't have to worry about the takedowns, you don't have to worry about the kicks, you don't have to think about submissions and things like that. But it's also more dangerous because it's all head blows. I train with a lot of boxers, high level boxers, and these guys spar 2 and 3 times a week, like wars. I don't do that. I don't believe in that. I believe you can spar one time a week, get a good sparring session in. But I would love to stay active in boxing or just combat sports, period. But I'm starting to see the way the game of MMA is going. It's starting to become more about politics, and they're really moving more towards the younger athlete, like the more explosive, well, not really more explosive, but like you got these kids, like the 17-year-old guys that the UFC just signed. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, so they're the game of MMA is switching. But boxing is a sweet science, and I would love to stay active in boxing. You see a lot more older guys have more success in boxing than in MMA. So I would love to stay more active in boxing, and it pays better.
Yeah, I can't argue that. How do you train for something like the Trigon? Because you're not going to walk into a gym and find a triangle shaped boxing ring most
Yeah.
places, I would think. Do you have to rope it off, or do you just train like normal in the space like normal, and you just have to adjust in the ring?
Like so for us, like we've done all our research. We pretty much we have several boxing rings, the biggest one, and then we just make it into a triangle. If you got to use ropes, we'll use ropes, we'll use hand wraps. But also, we create like a wall, like we might put up like some cones or something, so you get used to, hey man, this is the actual boundaries. You can't go outside of these boundaries, but we do cut a boxing ring in half. Um, It's different because you can literally get cornered. Um, that's been a work in progress for us as soon as we got the call. But we adjust. We're fighters. That's what we do. And come fight night, our that's not going to be a problem at all. Like you have to have a smart fighter will always have ring generalship. Like you will always know um, your surroundings and your boundaries. But we just starting out. We cut it off with a rope, and we cut it off with some hand wraps just to get used to it.
Is it kind of exciting knowing that, as long as the sport has been around, boxing and MMA and all that, that there's still new aspects to it, that it's still, you're still learning something, that it's kind of exciting, like, wow, I get to like learn something new this time. I got to learn about this shape. Does that excite you?
Always. It's funny you ask that because I love new things. That's everything in life. Like I love to see when new buildings go up. I love to see remodeling in the house. Like just so whenever you get to see new, that gives you an opportunity to expand your mind or get used to something different instead of always remaining the same. That's just a life lesson, man. You should never remain the same in life. You should always be looking for new things, but take what you've learned into the new things. But it's very exciting um, because a lot of people's not used to it. And whenever I ain't saying crossover, whenever you go to like do an actual boxing match, you also have that tool in your belt because now I'm comfortable fighting in the pocket, like versus just always trying to use my movement to move around. If I actually get into another boxing fight, then when I'm in the boxing ring, now I have this extra tool in my pocket to where like, okay, I know for a fact that if we gotta stand in here and have a firefight, I'm okay with having a firefight because I've been training or I've been fighting in the trigon.
Awesome. My last question for you, what would you tell the fans to expect from you in this fight?
Man, listen, I've never been in a boring fight ever. None of my fights have ever been boring, and it's very, very rare that my fights go to a decision. So out of almost 20 fights, I think three of my fights have gone to decision. Two in boxing, one in MMA. So man, just get ready, man. Get ready to see fireworks and get ready to see some good boxing, man. A lot of these guys they get out here and they use this as they I think that when they see that it's bare knuckle, or that is there's no gloves, automatically their minds go into, man, this is a dick swinging contest, and they just want to go out there and they just want to brawl. But nah, man, get ready for me to change the game. Like I'm gonna show these people, like, hey, man, this dude is exciting, and this dude is actually what we've been looking for. So I'm ready to make a statement. I'm telling you, I'm ready to make a statement. I'm ready to bring the fireworks and get ready. Don't expect this to go to the distance.
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you for having me. I appreciate you all.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye.